Well, hello and welcome to my world, folks. You know, tonight is the marathon. We're going to have two shows. I might just do a third show after this one, but I'm excited to be here. Welcome to Talk Leadership with Cedrick. You know, everybody needs a little TLC, and I'm Cedrick LaFleur, your host, and I'm excited to be here with you tonight. You know, Talk Leadership with Cedrick is where we focus on leadership, personal growth with business leaders, educators, and local thought leaders. Our goal is to bring our audience, introduce our audience to leaders who are making an impact with innovative ideas. You know, our guiding leadership principle is the law of contribution, which says growing yourself enables you to grow others. So you can't give what you don't have. So you must first grow yourself in order to grow others. See, we believe that outstanding leaders like yourself will help us to help others. So tonight, folks, we have another dynamic leader with us. And let me tell you what, you know, the month of April is Women Empowerment Month on Talk Leadership with Cedrick. So tonight I have another dynamic leader that I want to introduce you to. So, but first, before we do that, I'm going to introduce you to my my daughter.
Get out of here with this. You and this mini me.
Miss TK LaFleur. She's going to be my co-host. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm always doing great. And then we have Miss Natasha Taylor. How you doing, Natasha?
I am doing wonderful.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the show. So let me do a little bit of an introduction to the audience to Natasha. Natasha Taylor was born in Gulfport, Mississippi on September 15, 1988. By the way, that's the birthday of one of my sisters. So you're a Virgo, right? All right. So in 2005, her family, at the age of 15, her family relocated from South Carolina to South Carolina after Hurricane Katrina. This mother of two strives to beat the odds and empower others all over to embrace change and to do more with less, to be different, to be unique, right? She is a nurse with Prisma Health Hospital. She is the founder and chief executive officer of a mentoring and development program called Talks with Tasha. Is that the way you pronounce it?
It's correct.
All right, Talks with Tasha. It's a nonprofit organization called Plant Your Feet. I want to know more about that, folks. Right, so stay tuned tonight. We're going to have a good time talking tonight. Her story will be proof that success is about being resourceful and creative. Resourceful, creative, and I'm going to add innovative in here. Right. Most people know her as an ordinary mother and a friend with an extraordinary message. Now, see, I know the word is extraordinary, but I don't like that word. I like extraordinary, folks, because, you know, the only difference between ordinary and extraordinary is extra. So that's why I like that, right? But she's known as an ordinary mother and a friend with an extraordinary message that will transform lives. Her message is simple. Nothing is permanent. Let me say that again, because I need to make sure that you get it. Nothing is permanent, right? It's all about embracing change, reinvention, perseverance, and renewing of your mind. She tells us that the mind is the only leverage we have to lift ourselves above our tough situations. Now, see, that right there is worth repeating. She tells us that the mind is the only leverage that we have to lift ourselves above our tough situations. It is a message that Natasha has learned from her own life experiences and one she is helping others apply to their lives. So let's welcome again Miss Natasha Taylor to the show.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Awesome. So I'm excited to talk with you tonight and just kind of go through your story. So let's just get started. TK, you want to ask the first question?
Yeah, just the first question on the list, really. Just tell the listeners a little bit more, I guess, in detail about your journey. I know my dad has said a lot, but I know that there's some more details in that we didn't get to hear. So let's hear that.
So outside of being a nurse, I'm not going to make up tonight, but I did it because this is me in my everyday life, and I think transparent is a gift. So my The only thing extra, I think, outside of what you guys have said, that I am pretty much just this. This is what you're going to get every day, all day, no matter what I have going on in my everyday life. I'm a mother of one boy, one girl. One's in middle school and one is in the 3rd grade. And both of my kids right now are in virtual school. So I also need to add teacher. Got the teacher as well.
Okay, awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about Talks with Tasha. I want to understand what is Talks with Tasha, what we're going to get from Talks with Tasha, and yes.
So Talks with Tasha is a bit of everything.
So hold on a second. Your microphone, it's like cutting in and out.
If I can.
I want to make sure that the audience gets the full experience, and they.
Let me make sure we're together now. What about now?
Yes, it's better.
Better?
Yes.
So Talks with Tasha started with just a few friends. And what we would do every weekend was pretty much get together. And I've always been this person. So we would kind of role play and give each other advice on what happened during the week. So it started with me just asking, well, how's your day going? Or how's your week? Because no one ever asked me. No one's ever asked me that, even when I was little. So those are certain things that I brought into my friendships, as well as, I do my children that way as well. So it started with just maybe 2 or 3 of us that we got together each weekend. And then I just kind of made it a habit. I made it an everyday habit to ask people, oh, how's your day? Or, what can we do different this week? So we started setting goals, and it kind of just started with me and my friend. And she was like, this Talks with Tasha. And it stayed with me.
Okay. All right. So with Talks with Tasha, are you talking to youth, or are you talking to just adults?
So that's where Plant Your Feet comes in at. So Plant Your Feet is for the youth, for a group. And I just added a boys chapter, which that will start in June. Right now, it's mainly just girls, the age between 7 and 19. And then women is Talks with Tasha. So I had to learn how to separate the two because it got kind of mixed. I can understand that I'm very transparent. So I can be here and then I can be here, whenever I'm needed. So that's the plan. So Plant Your Feet is kids, Talks with Tasha is adults.
Okay, so Talks with Tasha is something that kids can't come to. Oh, I don't want to know that. Okay, I got you. Well, that is awesome. Well, so some of the data says that students that have a mentor or an adult developmental relationship are 52% less likely to skip school. And those same students that have a mentor or adult developmental relationship are 37% less likely to skip class. Now, when those type things happen, obviously what happens is school climate improves, the student improves, the school culture improves, right? Everything about the student life and their experience in school improves. So I love what you're doing with Plant Your Feet. And so today you said you have girls, and then in June you're starting with boys, right?
Yes.
All right. So then are you going to be doing Plant Your Feet is going to be in schools, or is going to be in groups outside of school?
So right now it's in groups outside of school. It's funny that you said that because my next goal is to get inside of the school. One thing that I've learned with my kids being in virtual school is that the school systems have failed. I don't think we really had a chance to prepare, honestly, with COVID, and I think they did the best they can. But who was the voice for the kids when things were missing? I could meet with them outside of school. I could hear about how school was going, but now we're getting into how life is at home, and I'm starting to see different behaviors and different things change within these kids. I would definitely plan on getting inside of the school because I think with someone that's a little bit more authentic, and it has nothing to do with race, I just think these kids need someone that they can relate to. And it's something that I would do every day without it being inside a book, because they'll open up more. They definitely do on a regular basis, honestly. I get text messages and I'm like, well, who's in class? If it's 2 o'clock.
Stop texting me if you're still in school, please.
So we have good relationships. So I'm looking to just do that more, just be that person that I needed actually.
Okay, awesome. I like that. All right, TK.
So something that like I've gone through with Talks with Tasha and been on those phone calls, and a phrase that I know you always say is "do it differently." And it used to drive me crazy because it was so not specific, and I was like, I don't even really know what that means, but you think you would know what it means. So explain what "do it differently" means.
I think do it differently has no definition, and that is the most frustrating part. When I say do it different, meaning trying. I think we comfortably get complacent when it feels right or when it's going right. But then when things go wrong, when I say do it differently, meaning you're always planning, not necessarily for something bad to happen, but for a change to happen. The biggest thing that I've learned as a mentor is that people are not prepared for change. And that's what do it differently means. It's just preparing yourself. It is not, don't go deep, don't think about it. It's just so every day, for instance, I get up, I find myself getting up at the same time every day to do the exact same thing. Well, what happens if I get called in as a nurse or if someone gets sick? I used to scramble because I'm like, okay, well, I didn't work out today or I didn't do this. So I plan every day for something to happen. It comes to me naturally because but just doing it different, thinking of different scenarios, planting your feet is doing it different.
Different.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I really like that. So it's amazing. So let me share with you how, when you put things into your consciousness, how the universe comes together to for the good. So today I was in Killeen, Texas, training a car dealership, their sales team, their finance team, their accounting team. Every month I'm taking them through a leadership journey. And this is the first month that we started back since COVID started. So we're picking up where we were left off. Well, today we're talking about the law of intentionality, which says growth doesn't just happen. You must be intentional about growth. And one of the things we're talking about in this session was where there's no change, there's no growth, right? So then I just had one of my childhood friends on my show just in the last hour. And one of the things she started talking about, I didn't even prompt her. She started talking about change. And with no change, there's no growth.
Mm-hmm.
You just said, when TK asked you about doing it differently, that this prepares a student for change.
Yes.
See how all those things just connect, right? All day long, I've been talking about change, and where there's no change, there's no growth. And on both of these live calls tonight, you both yes, mention change in what they're talking about. See, the universe comes together. Folks, what I want you to get from this, what I want you to understand is when you put something in your consciousness and you feel it, you believe it in you, it goes out into the universe and it comes back to you like multiple folds, right? So it came back to me multiple fold in that other people were validating what I was talking about. Now, I haven't talked to them at all today. They're validating what we were talking about, right? And so this is just awesome. So what do you think? So let's, before we even get further on Talks with Tasha and Plant Your Feet, let's talk a little bit more about, so you're a nurse. All right. Are you you have a specific specialty?
My favorite specialty is actually pulmonary, but right now, after COVID, I was replaced to internal medicine. I always tell my kids, you had to reach really, really far. And I wanted to be like employee of the month right before COVID happened. Worked really hard. So, and just to kind of wrap back up to what you said about the universe will definitely meet you halfway. Because I was like, well, why did they calling me? Why they don't want to explore? And next thing you know, I got a call. So long story short, I'm working in internal medicine now, but my specialty is pulmonary. So
Okay, awesome. So what made you decide to become a nurse?
because honestly, I became a nurse because I wanted someone to be proud of me. It was nothing that I wanted to do. I always knew that my passion was people. I just never knew how. And I never had anyone in my life to actually show me how. I was like, well, I just like working with people. When you were in the 5th grade and 6th grade, come in, they do a questionnaire, and I was like, well, but I didn't. What I like now about today's transitioning is that there's people set in place to help you and to guide you into that. And I wish I had a me or someone else in my life 20 years ago before I got these student loans. But I do. I wanted to give my children some stability, and I wanted to set a foundation. But most importantly, I just wanted my mom to be proud of me, to be able to have something to brag about. And that's what made it. That's what made me do it.
Okay. Well, that's an awesome reason. That's awesome inspiration to be a nurse, right? So now that you're a nurse, what keeps you being a nurse?
I think that what keeps me being a nurse is that I can be myself. I'm my own type of nurse, and they don't like it all the time, but I tell myself every day, and me and God have conversations, and I'm like, I hope I get a job today, but I'm going to give this lady some medicine. Actually, just having the heart I have, that's what keeps me there in this space. So I'll probably still be later on in life, but I do have plans on reaching for other goals at this point now. I'm more so looking to get into like the HR part of it. I'm more of a paperwork type of person. I can get things handled. I think I'm tired of working.
Okay, all right. So slide back over. You sliding out of the camera. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, I was like, what is a chair moving?
That's 2 shows in a row you've had guests trying to slide out.
Sliding out the camera. What's going on here? I'm getting self-conscious over here. So here's what I want to tie what you just said. So the reason I asked you, so why did you want to become a nurse? To understand why you want to become a nurse, right? It was this inspiration. You wanted someone to be proud of you, and then you learned that, wow, you're going to be giving value back to people. Now, what's keeping you being a nurse is it really, you said it's the value that you're giving to people. Let me tie that to everything that you're doing, because I want our audience to get it. You see, she's a nurse because she can take care of people and help people. She can add value to people. Guess what she's doing in her personal business? She's adding value to people. Talks with Tasha. That's where she's going to be pouring into people, helping them, adding value to people. Guess what she's doing with Plant Your Feet? That's what it's all about, adding value to other people. So my point is this. You already know this, but the audience, it's important for the audience to understand this. See, when you add value to people, life becomes so much better for you. We call it significance. And audience, just in case you don't know, once you've tasted significance, success will never satisfy. Well, you may say, well, what does that mean, Cedrick? Well, see, success is adding value to yourself, but significance is adding value to other people. So right now, Tasha is living a life of significance in her professional life, and it's rolling over right into her business. That's what happens, folks, when you're intentional in your life. So thanks, Tasha, for being willing to share your journey with us and share your story with us tonight. I'm excited to continue the story now. But folks, we're going to be dropping some gold on here tonight. We might have to put up a pay sign here so that you have to pay for this, right? Because we're just going to be good tonight, all right? So what do you think? What separates your business from other things that are out there in the same genre?
Let me think. I saw that question, and I was thinking to myself, I was cooking dinner for my kids, and I was like, well, what makes it different? I think what makes it different is I came into it not wanting to be different. It was all about how I could work together with someone. It wasn't about just getting what I needed out of it, because I was also looking for some type of growth. With me, when it comes to what I do it every day for free. And I think that is what makes me different.
Awesome. I like that. You'll do it every day, all day for free. Awesome. Love it. Adding value to people. What you got to say about that? Say that again.
I said it add value to me. I think that's what keeps me going. It's weird. My friend, I said it the other day, and she was like, no, not for free. And I'm just saying, like I'm I want to do this.
Yeah, well, so I wasn't going to say anything, but I know TK was what I was thinking. All right, we
Yeah,
have to talk about this offline. But I come from a school of Deion Sanders, and here's what he says: "I love football, playing football." He says, "I love it so much that I'll play it for free, as long as everybody else, even the owners, are doing it for free. But since they're not, pay me my money."
Get my coins, get my coins.
So, all right, TK, what question you have?
So given that the whole pandemic stuff is still here, how has your business been positioned to make it through the next big disruption? Just sort of like how did you handle it when it hit this time around, and then how are you set up for next time, if there is a next time?
It is a next time. It's going to be a next time. Remember, we're always preparing for change. But with me, the only big difference is not being able to meet with the girls in these large groups. So it went from maybe meeting at 1:30 now groups, but I feel like people get when I do it that way. But it was a smooth transition for me because it was always either like a Zoom call or a Zoom meeting, or they just call me on the phone. So it wasn't hard to transition at all. I do think I continue with me girls Zoom, but when it comes to kids, let me tell you, they got on there and nobody turns their cameras on, and I'm thinking, how is this going and how is this working? Because they'll type. Kids these days, but right now I'm creating programs for the school. They want me to do like presentations. And so that's what I'm pretty much working on right now. So I don't think it's going to be, I think it'll be pretty good. It's going to go good.
Awesome. Well, Kimberly, thank you for tuning in tonight. Kimberly was my previous guest, and so thanks for tuning in. She said she was the one that was like moving off camera. She said she think it was the studio cameras that was moving on her.
You got to get those cameramen working, Dad.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to my cameraman when they go to the house.
They laugh and lean.
Awesome. So what makes you smile when you get up in the morning?
I think it's the fact that I just got up. Over the last few years, I've been put in various situations to actually just appreciate life. Getting up every day it took me let me start over. It took me a very long time to be able to get up and not have yesterday on my shoulder. So now when I get up, I'm able to just leave yesterday behind, and every day is a new day. So being able to practice what I preach, I think that's what makes me smile every day.
Sure. I think we lost your audio.
What about now?
Now I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. I'm sorry about that.
That's all right.
Okay.
So in entrepreneur journey, there's always challenges, right? What would you say has been your biggest challenge so far being an entrepreneur?
Probably what we talked about. My biggest challenge right now, not my own feet. Let's put because I don't know how to. I think I lowball myself, and the biggest challenge so far is actually giving people my prices and charging them for my worth. So I'll give ideas and I give work. I work for other people, and I think that's been the most challenging thing is having such a big heart into it. How to get paid for.
Yes. So that's always a challenge for new entrepreneurs is understanding their value, their worth, and then charging for that. And see, people pay for what they want to pay for. If Beyonce said, I'm coming to South Carolina and it's going to cost me $500 to get into this concert, guess what? Those same broke people, what are they going to do?
They're going to the concert.
They're going to that concert, right? They're not going to miss out. They're going to try to see if there's a VIP section that they can. And, oh, the VIP is $750. Oh, okay, I got that. No problem. I got that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But the minute you say, come over here, let me help you grow and develop and get better, invest in yourself, all of a sudden everybody have alligator arms.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But you have to understand and say, okay, I'm going to be providing you with so much value. Here's what my price is. And boom, even though I'm willing to do it for free, I always tell people, look, be willing to do something for free, but do it so well that they will pay you double for it. You see, that's what happens with Beyonce. She can do a concert for free, but she does it so well, people will pay her double for it. Jay-Z,
and triple and 3,000 and whatever.
Exactly. So you have to let people understand that this can, and you have to remember, this can be either an expensive hobby or a revenue generating business. You see, audience, I want you to understand that Natasha is not just having an expensive hobby.
Mm-hmm.
She's a revenue generating business. And when she says this is what our price is, you have to be willing then to invest in yourself. Because when you invest in yourself, folks, let me tell you what. Kim says, yeah. When you invest in yourself, life changes for you. And earlier, when we're talking about just do it differently, we talked about where there's no change, there's no growth. And let me tell you what, the worst type of person in the world could be someone who is thinking the same way today as they thought 5 or 10 years ago.
Oh, I love it.
Right? And no manager, no leader in an organization, big or small, wants to hire someone who thinks the same way as they thought 5 or 10 years ago. It just doesn't happen. Otherwise, they would put out want ads for the best followers that they can get.
That's true.
And we'll probably never see a want ad that says that, right?
Right.
Everybody wants leaders, and leaders know that they have to grow and get bigger and get faster and get stronger. All right.
Speaking of stronger, what do you deem are some of your strongest strengths, I guess? Like, what are your strengths in what you do and how you present yourself and all of these things? Because I think that's really important to understand what you're really, really good at, because that definitely gives you an opportunity to stand out, and it gives you an opportunity to let that shine on your girls that you're mentoring.
One of my biggest strengths that is not to sit down with someone and carry their burden. A few years ago, I think I carried everything for everybody. They said they were going through it. That into my everyday life. One of my biggest strengths right now, I'm really proud of, is being able to give you what you need, take away from what, and then give that advice. And then once table I'm up. That is, but I had to, it goes back to what Mr. Cedrick said, is like, I actually had to grow myself first. And I had to figure me out first. And the biggest thing that I say is that for me, when it came to growth, is I had to figure out what my triggers were. I had to figure out what my weaknesses were so I could be prepared. And that goes back to playing your feet, is because I was a runner. And I think that my piece was running from every situation. And that's what I did. But I didn't really figure out what my strengths are until what my weaknesses are and the things that actually trigger those things in my everyday life.
Wow, I love that. You didn't really figure out your strengths until you understood what your weaknesses were.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely love that. And I love the other thing I love that you said is, hey, look, I had to learn how to not carry everybody else's burdens with me. Because that can really wear you down, right? You carrying everybody else's baggage. So you know what's happening when you're carrying their baggage? They're not carrying it. They're just living free and fancy and all this stuff. And you over here like, oh my God.
Bad for her, Then they were like, "Ooh, thank you. Glad you called. What are we going?"
Absolutely. So, sometimes new entrepreneurs will want to give up and throw in the towel the minute they face adversity, or the minute they get a customer or a potential customer that says, no, I don't want this, right? So they decide that they want to just give up. So what piece of advice would you give someone who is listening right now, or they may listen to the replay later? What advice would you give them about persevering and not giving up?
Because I was, from experience, I was one of those ones. I'm not gonna say I gave up, but I kind of was really, really hard on myself. So one of my biggest things was, at first I was seeing a lot of growth in people, and I was vibing, and I was thriving. I do. But when I started to make them dig deeper, they shied away from it a lot. So then I feel like I wasn't doing my part anymore. That was no longer my journey. So I'm gonna put this to the side for a second, and okay, let's just say give up. I gave up on it. I didn't lose faith in it. It was just like, okay, tiring. Everyone literally from those Zoom meetings was like, okay, well, when's the next one? Or when's it gonna start? And I was like, oh, y'all learning something? So that made me feel really good. One of the biggest things is I had to remember actually why I started. And that may sound super cliche, but that is my biggest advice, is always constantly remind yourself why you actually started. That'll help push forward. I had to revamp a lot because I did feel like I gave up on them. And that was hard for me, but just kind of recharging, still taking the time to rebuild and redo things helped, but also remembering why I actually started is what advice I.
Yeah, I love that. And here's the thing what I like what you said is, you said you had to go back to your why.
Mm-hmm.
Why you started. And let me tell you what, folks, people don't buy from you because of what you do, and they don't buy from you because of how you do it. They buy from you because of why you do it. So going back and touching into your why, it was important.
Mm-hmm.
So I absolutely love that you tap back into the why, because every day, all day, and twice on Sunday, people buy from you because of why you do it. So awesome. TK, you want to take the next question?
Yeah. So.
Oh, actually, before we're halfway point here, and I have a session in the halfway point of the show, a tradition, and it's called "Would You Rather." All right, so we're gonna play a round of "Would You Rather." I just looked at the clock, and then, oh man, we gotta play here. Would you rather? So, would you rather, excuse me, have to pay for everything with pennies, or with $100 bills for the rest of your life?
Ooh.
And you get no change. Yeah.
I'm buying $100 worth of stuff every time.
Pennies?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Awesome. And audience, you can put in your responses in the comments as well. All right. Would you rather eat wet cat food or dog treats after breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
Cat food or dog?
Cat food or dog treats?
I'm going with the cat food.
Okay. All right. All right. So, so would you rather see colors that no one else can see, or smell smells that no one else could smell?
See color.
See colors. All right. Would you rather meet your great grandparents or meet your great grandchildren?
My great
Your great what? You said great grandchildren?
grandparents.
Grandparents. Okay. All right. I see Kim said pennies. She was it was so her spending.
That was my thought exactly. $100 bill, it goes fast. But if I have to count out these pennies, count me out.
Okay, all right. Would you rather no one show up at your wedding or no one show up at your funeral?
Wedding.
Wedding. All right. Would you rather be stuck on a ski lift or in an elevator?
Elevator.
Elevator. All right. Would you rather go skydiving or bungee jumping?
Oh, skydiving. She has been talking about skydiving for like 3 months now. She really wants. I said, you and my brother, y'all need to go on a trip and go skydiving.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Okay. All right. Y'all can have that skydiving stuff. I'm not doing that. Would you rather fulfill your biggest wish or resolve your biggest regret?
Fulfill my biggest wish.
Okay, fulfill your biggest wish. Kim said, "When are you guys gonna go skydiving?"
Well, before I change my mind, because I'm actually afraid of heights.
She won't go on a roller coaster,
right.
but she wants to go skydiving.
Yeah, Kim. Well, Kim, I'm gonna videotape you from the ground. Okay, I want to see that. Would you rather pick the year you die or the way you die?
The year.
The year. Okay. So, would you rather be best friends forever with your favorite celebrity or date your celebrity crush for only 2 years?
Be best friends.
All right. Last one here. Would you rather, because I asked everyone this one, would you rather have $1 million in Amazon gift cards or $100,000 in real money?
Amazon gift card.
Amazon, that's what I say too. Give me the Amazon gift card. Because in fact, I have to go out in just a little while to after this show to pick up some Amazon packages.
I'll make it work.
Yes. Amazon gift cards for me too. I love them. I love Amazon because it just makes life so much easier. Just come to your front door. All right. TK, you want to take the next question?
Yeah, so we're talking defining moments. I found that I have had a solid 2 defining moments where my life could have gone this way or this way. And based on that decision, obviously started the chain reaction of what was going to happen based on the path that I chose. So what is one of your most defining moments in your life?
I've had a few. I think the most defining moment for me would probably a few years ago. I was pulled over by a cop, and even though I was in the right, and all I did was a U-turn, I had to make a very, very, very sound decision, and I got angry with him, and he took me to jail for an illegal U-turn, and even when I got there, the judge was like, "Well, when you start arresting people for illegal U-turn," he was like, "Oh, it's not what she did; it's just how she talked to me." And he was very honest about it. But for me, I had to realize that sometimes being is just the best way to go, even when I was right. So I think that for me, with my daughter, she was looking through the newspaper, and I was listening to Bad Girls something, and she was like, "Mommy, is this you?" I was like, felt any different. But she was really proud. Like, she was proud to see me in the newspaper, and she didn't realize why I was in the newspaper, how I was there. But they have this thing where they embarrass you, and if you go, even for a split second, I think I was there for like an hour. The judge wanted to teach me a lesson, and he was like, you were on your way to school, and you told the officer this, and he was like, do better, and that was it for me. Since then, I was like, well, I'm gonna just be quiet. If they ask for my license and registration, even though I'm almost late for school, work, or whatever, I'll just give it to them. But I think just at that moment, I was given another left.
Okay. Yeah, we got to learn. You can't legislate everything on the side of the road. You're not going to win that battle too much, right? But Kim, I see your message. Yeah, so we'll get the $100,000 in cash and turn it into $1 million. You know, I have to take my cut, my profit, my payment. You know what I'm saying?
So. And then go spend it at Amazon.
Yeah. So what are one or two things you say that you've learned from being an entrepreneur?
Oh, it's not easy. That is one thing that I've learned. It can be very, very fruitful. As much as I looked at the negative, just being so tired every day, I have learned that it teaches you that there's definitely light at the end of the tunnel. We hear it all the time, but if you're patient and you just work at it and you keep going, no matter how many nights you cry, it is there. It's coming.
Yes, you're absolutely right about that. So do you have a mentor?
I do have a mentor. Miss Sabrina Greenlee is actually my mentor.
All right.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with that is, but the most valued thing is, so even though I mentor a lot of other women, one of my most vulnerable is being a mentee. And that's how I learn.
Awesome. Well, having a mentor is always can be valuable to you along your journey, right? Just to have someone that's running a little bit faster than you that can pull you up, and then also on the other side is you're running faster than somebody else, right? So then you got to pull them up. That's what I love about mentor-mentee type of relationships. So if you're home alone, no kids at home, is just you and the four walls, tell me what's the dessert that you're gonna eat?
Butter pecan ice cream.
Yes, that's my favorite right there, butter pecan. I'm bluebell butter pecan. In fact, I have some in my freezer right now.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't know that I ate it already. He don't have any in his freezer.
Yeah, well, let me tell you what, we know that that's not true. Because yeah, she's only eating carrot sticks and celery.
Yep. I don't like this tag team. That has
to stop. For talks with Tasha. Mm-hmm. Tell us the age group again. You said that you connect with
7 to 19. I wanted to stop at 18, but I realized the girls needed that extra push right after 18. I think that's when things changed. It changed for them a lot, and they were still wanting to continue. I just went up an age, so
okay,
19.
Okay, all right. So if people wanted to get in contact with you, how can they get in contact with you for your programs?
So right now, what I'm currently using is mainly just my email because most of my mentees are local. So their parents either calling me or they follow me on my social media page. So my email talks with Tasha, email.com.
It's it cut out again. Talks with Tasha, you said, and what else is it?
At gmail.com.
Talks with Tasha at Gmail. Yeah, I'm gonna put that in the comments.
Okay.
And Tasha, you spell it Tashia.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So folks, that's in the comment section. If you want to reach out and get in contact with Tasha about about her program, Talks with Tasha. And I'm assuming did you have a separate email, or is the same email for Plant Your Feet?
It's the same email currently for Plant Your Feet as the other one is.
Awesome.
Look at emails at this moment with that one because it kind of all combined, and then once it was under one umbrella, I started answering from Talks with Tasha, so I just kind of
Well, so I love having one email address, and some of my friends that are watching, they're going to get a laugh out of this because they know that I'm always preaching one email address and not 100 email addresses. So, awesome. TK, you want to take the next question? I'm going to type this in on my Facebook page so that people can reach out to you.
Yeah. So keeping with Natasha and all that, I know you do vision board parties, and I've been a part of a couple of your vision board parties actually. So can you explain what a vision board party is and how it's impactful and what the purpose of it is?
So my vision board parties are a little bit different. What we focused on is not your normal vision board party. So what I wanted people to do is actually dig really deep, and even with the girls, we focused more on how they wanted how they wanted to be presented, how they wanted to be looked at. So when it comes to my vision board, actually how you see yourself, not see yourself having, because when I used to do vision board parties, you either in a Mercedes, that's what you wanted, and we were actually manifesting back then. We didn't even notice. So my vision board parties are just a little bit different. It's on difference, doing it different, and so doing it different meaning we weren't focused where we wanted to be, going to Hawaii or whatever ocean we found in the magazines. It was actually finding quotes, finding things that you can actually work on, or things that were actually going right, because everything doesn't always have to be wrong or going downhill. I just wanted to kind of focus on good. So that's how my vision board.
And I was a part of one of those. I actually pulled my brother in, and I have my vision board. I made it. Of course, I did it digitally because poster board and paper just like, yeah. So I made one digitally, and I have it as my screensaver on my computer as a good reminder. And one of the biggest challenges, like when her and I were talking about things that I should put on my vision board, stemmed around the person I wanted to be within my academy, and how there were certain areas that I really needed to focus on to make sure that I was presenting myself in the right way. And so a lot of the things on my vision board are around communication and pushing out negative thoughts, taking risks, believing in yourself. And so it really was a very different way of doing a vision board, because I've always known them, like she was saying, to be about things that you want, like a certain career path, things you want in the future. I've never seen it from a perspective of the person you want to be in the future. And so I did really enjoy that experience, and challenge all of you guys to actually be a part of one of those, because it makes you look at yourself a little bit differently, not from I want this perspective, but I want to be this perspective. So I thought it was really neat, and I really enjoyed it. So
awesome, exciting. So, what's your favorite sports team?
Clemson.
Clemson. You mean okay? All right, I'll give you that one.
Okay, what's your favorite NFL team?
If I had to choose, it would probably be.
Wait, say it again.
Probably what?
The Steelers.
Oh, the Steelers. Okay, all right. So you can redeem yourself then. Well, there's nothing wrong with Clemson, but there's Alabama, or LSU,
Yeah, now LSU is a little bit better.
Yeah. Y'all are both Tigers.
So if you had to pick your favorite vacation spot, what is it and why?
Believe it or not, my favorite vacation spot would be Mississippi. And growing up, it never felt like home. Let's put it that way. It always felt like we were just visiting. So I do think it was I'm older. I'm pretty happy that Hurricane Katrina happened because my mom was actually able to become the person she's always been. But I do like to go back home. I haven't been in a few years. I went recently last month, but I love going to Mississippi. I can't stay, but I do love there. I want to bring my kids back more, but Mississippi is probably my top. number one. I've been to a few places.
Okay. All right. Mississippi. All right.
Mhm.
Well, yeah. My sister lives in Jackson area,
Mhm.
Mississippi. Okay. All right. So Laura is a high school friend of mine. She's listening and she's talking about these Dallas Cowboys, and about having none of that, Laura. Uh, so we like winning. So are you reading currently? Are you reading any books that the audience would be interested in?
I did pick up a book right now that I'm actually reading to my children. I was looking for, sorry. It's called Growth. It was gifted to me. It came in the mail, and it was basically kind of teaching young children how to get through everyday life without being super scared of living. My children are like black and white. They don't see color, and I never wanted to be in that position where I felt like I had to um, put them in that position. I'm a strong believer if you don't bring the kids to, they won't never know a difference. But it was more so for me, and it was gifted to me by one of my good friends. She's a therapist. So I'm hoping to get through with it by the end of this week. And if I can think of the name, I think it's Terry McCullen is the author, but the name of it is
The name of it is what again?
sorry, Growth.
Growth. Okay. All right. That's boom right there. This is gonna tell you what you're gonna get out of the book. You're gonna
He's not sugarcoating it.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. All right, TK, you want to ask the next question?
Yeah, I want to know what's the best thing that's happened to you all year.
The best thing that's happened to me all year is I don't think.
So many good choices, I know.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know.
one of the best things that's happened is you're on Talk Leadership with Cedrick. So we'll just start with that one. I got choked.
I think that I don't know. It's so many good things that have actually happened throughout the year. They're pretty much on the same page. If I had to choose one of them, it probably would be I finished a second book, an affirmations journal, which will be released at the end of May for Mother's Day, which I worked with my mentor. So we finally got it completed. And I have been working on that thing for about a year and a half. So if I had to choose, when I got the okay and it was like, congratulations, it's going to the next step, I think that probably be the best thing that's happened so far in the last 4 months.
Okay, awesome. Well, that is awesome. When you go into the next step in any project you're working on is always good, and it helps you with the celebration. It also helps you in terms of just knowing that the journey continues, right? So a couple more questions here, but one is, if there was a book that was written about you, what would the name of the book be? And what would the summary in the back of the book say about you?
Wow. I don't know. That's a tough question.
Hey, I love asking tough questions.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. Well, you got to think about that.
Let me think about that one.
Okay. All right. What would the name of the book be? And what would the summary in the back of the book say about you? So, in terms of plant your feet.
Yes, sir.
All right. You said currently, and I just want to recap this just in case someone joined us a little bit later, a little bit late. Plant Your Feet is a youth-based program. Currently, you're working with students outside of school, but you want to get into the school setting and bring your program to school systems in South Carolina.
Yes, sir.
And what part of South Carolina are you in?
I'm in Greenville.
Greenville, South Carolina. Okay, all right. So then, if you're a school administrator and you're listening, Tasha has a program that she's looking to bring into your school called Plant Your Feet, and give them a little bit about what they're going to get when they get Plant Your Feet into their school.
So getting Plant Your Feet into the school is a whole lot different from just like your normal guidance counselor. I will be offering, it's more like an after school program as well, because I don't think kids get enough time right now. And once they go back to school, I think we'll be mushing, because I'm part of the PTO and PTA and everything above when it comes to school. With the kids in virtual school right now, they're pushing pretty much 2 school years together. And I think that's pretty darn hectic on any kid. What I've learned is that the communication and socials have changed. So I created different modules to do each day. So the first goal is for the kids with after school programs. And then the second goal would be for the kids that's going to be doing half and half. In South Carolina, next year, they'll start with kids doing half school days, and 2 or 3 days they'll be at home. So the kids that are at home, I will do like the Zoom meeting calls because they're pretty much independent. The kids have about an hour or 2 hours in between like each class to start. That's a long day, a long responsibility to give to a kid. So right now, my main goal is to kind of keep them going, keep them talking to each other outside of cell phones, these mean girl groups. Interactions with each other, and where they're able to understand the changes that they're going through as young women. Because going from the 6th grade to the 8th grade and being at home, I've seen a lot of changes. Even with my daughter, she's changed. Everything's changed about her. Pretty excited about it.
Awesome. TK, I'm going to give you the final question.
Oh, no pressure.
I said, don't ask about the book. I'm still.
Okay, here we go. I got a good one. What's the most important leadership lesson you've learned, and how is it valuable?
That everyone is different. The most I've learned so far that how I learn and how I grew is a lot different from how someone else is going to do it. And even though it worked for me, it didn't, it's not going to work for the next person. So I had to figure out how they're learning and how they're willing to be taught. Because I'm hard. I'm a hard person, and I can't treat everybody hard. I see.
Well, awesome. So Laura, the middle girl on the show tonight is my daughter. She's a student of learning, but she's 34.
You did not have to say that. You just left it at daughter. God.
Hey, they thought you were a student.
Yeah. No, I'm not talking about the student part. I'm talking about him saying my age part.
Oh.
Well.
All right. I didn't mean that. She's only 20 years younger than me, and I'm 54.
Oh.
Okay. So,
better way.
Well, thank you, Natasha, for being on the show tonight. I definitely enjoyed it. Learned a lot from you. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well.
I did. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So folks, I want you to share this. This will be playing again on my on several, 5 different Facebook pages, on LinkedIn, as well as on YouTube. So share this with youth. With your youth, with your millennial, with your iGener, so that they can pick up some lessons from what Natasha talked about tonight around Plant Your Feet, as well as talks with Tasha. So let me see what Laura said. What, 34? No, I thought she looked like, yeah, okay. 17 twice.
I hate you. I cannot stand you. Don't steal my shine.
So thank you guys for tuning in tonight. And hopefully you have a good a good rest of your evening. Tomorrow night, we'll be back on with Talk Leadership with Cedrick. And you know that every night on Talk Leadership with Cedrick in the month of April is about women empowerment. And we'll have a guest on tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we'll have Miss April Hawley on the show. So I'm excited to talk with her. And April is also an entrepreneur. She is in the leadership development space. So we're going to have a good time talking with her. Tomorrow night, the show starts at 5:30 Central Time. So make sure that you tune in, and then make sure that, we always have the Thursday edition of Talk Leadership with Cedrick on Wednesday. Make sure you tune in at noon for Cut the Cord with Cedrick and Joanna. And then on Friday, early Friday morning at 8:30 Central Time, make sure you tune in for another version of Friday Mental Motivation. And then Sunday morning, we'll see you again for the 10-minute word. So thank you guys. Make sure that you have a good rest of your week. Make sure that you add value to somebody every day. Just do something this week to add value to someone. And remember, as I always tell you, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And don't be on the menu. Thank you guys, and have a good night. Bye-bye.